Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Shane Walsh podcast. So, today's episode is based off a conversation I have an awful lot with clients, and it is in relation to the element of why is my friend or why is that other person flying when they're on the weight loss drugs, that Ozempic envy, or that uneven playing field that a lot of people kind of talk about. And it comes in an awful lot from my one-to-one clients. It comes in an awful lot from my group clients. I've got clients on the weight loss drugs, and it can feel like we're kind of swimming in quicksand or whatever it might be. And you've looked at someone in your life, a sister, a brother, a colleague, a friend, and someone who used to be around the same size as you, or they have struggled with their weight for a very long time, and they you've watched them almost lose 2, 3, 4, 5 stone, 6 stone over the last while. You felt something just doesn't feel deep down right in your head, and you're kind of like, why are they able to get it and why I'm not? You feel like you're doing everything right, counting, moving, tracking, trying, and the scales are barely shifting the way you want. And we're going to talk about what that actual feeling is. We're going to name it properly. We're going to honor it. And we're going to do the work that understand what's actually telling you and how to move through it. I'm not just going to say cop the fuck on to you, because I feel a lot of this is the mindset a lot of us will struggle with and can struggle with. The Ozempic, the weight loss drugs, or whatever it might be, they are hugely beneficial. It isn't an easy way out. So stay with me, okay? So let us name what's actually going on. So we're living in this age of Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and every other GLP-1. Okay, and it's changed the weight loss landscape. It's changed the weight loss conversation, and it has created something nobody really prepared us for emotionally: Ozempic envy, weight loss drug envy, or as I prefer to call it, comparison grief. Because that's really what it is. It's grief. There's something deeply painful about watching someone seemingly take a shortcut that they've struggled with or they've been defined by their years, maybe decades. Maybe you've white knuckled your way through diets. You've cried in fitting rooms. You felt that shame spiral after a, for inverted commas, bad food week. You've earned every single bit of your body wisdom you carry. And someone in your orbit or someone in your life takes this weekly injection and that weight melts away. And they're able to enjoy, they're able to not worry about that scale's going up because the drugs are doing the work. I want to be really, really clear about something. Your feeling is not shallow. It is not petty. It is not jealousy in its ugly, bitter form. It is completely a normal, legitimate human response to what feels, and in many ways is, an uneven playing field. So what that feeling is actually really saying is, when we feel envious of someone else's results, it's worth getting curious rather than self-critical. Because underneath that envy is almost one way of the core message of, I am exhausted. You've been working so hard for so long. The envy isn't really about them. It's a signal that your own tank is empty. You're not angry at their results. You're grieving how much effort your journey has taken. You might feel, well, am I doing something wrong? Or I'm failing. When someone else gets fast results, our brain immediately looks for reasons, and the cruelest one it defaults to is, maybe I'm the problem. That's not the truth. Everyone responds to things differently. Everyone's body is completely different. Everyone has a different approach. And it's finding what approach works for you through thick or thin. Because a lot of people find an approach that works until life happens, and then they stop. The other thing that could be is you want to feel seen. There's something that stings, that someone else's visible results to celebrate. You're quiet, you're ticking along, you're going unnoticed. You're just doing what you can. You want someone to say, I see how hard you are working. That matters. I see you. I see you doing what you can. The other thing that could happen is you're scared that it will never happen for you. And this is one really, really cuts to the core. Their success, their trigger, or their kind of success or their faster weight loss may trigger your fear for that you're somehow immune to progress, that your body is the problem, your metabolism is the problem, that you're against the scales or scales working against you that won't cooperate. That's not true. But fear doesn't respond to logic, because we all know this logically. The amount of times I've heard clients say, oh, I know this logically. Logic and weight loss, logic and food doesn't work together. but either does beating yourself up for it. So this uneven playing field. Not everyone has the same starting line. Some people have things that can make weight loss harder. Some people have thyroid issues, but once they're on the right dosages of their thyroid medications, that levels the playing field for them. PCOS. Now, they used to say that their metabolism is a lot slower than someone who doesn't have PCOS. But now they're saying there's not much of a difference, but there can be heightened body image pieces, anxiety, depression, etc. with those with PCOS. There could also be those who have disordered eating patterns. So they don't know how to trust themselves. There can be some people who have IBS and they can struggle to keep weight on, even though they're trying their hardest to keep to kind of grow muscle or whatever it might be. The GLP-1 medications work by suppressing your appetite and slowing that gastric emptying. So for some people, particularly whose bodies overproduce those hunger signals, they genuinely are life-changing. Imagine having a radio on in your head all the time saying food, 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 food. It turns off that food noise. And for others, the same drug produces different results, or for some, it doesn't work at all. You're not in a fair race. Some people have it more difficult than others. It's not a moral contest. It's not a competition of who looks better, who weighs less, etc. And the sooner we stop measuring ourselves and our worth against someone else's progress, that's when change happens. Now, does this mean you go out and get the weight loss drugs? No. That's a conversation for you and your GP, not for this podcast. What I'm saying is stop using someone else's results as your efforts. It's like comparing being in senior infants to being a master's and saying, why can't I get a job? I want to give you some kind of journal prompts that I've used with a client. And I've used with clients over the last while. These aren't, I'm trying to catch you out questions. They're not designed to make you feel like a sack of shit. They're designed to help you to get to know yourself better. So when you say I'm doing everything, what does everything actually look like? This isn't a critique. This isn't me being critical. It's being honest. Are you sleeping? Is stress a factor? Are you eating in a way that's restrictive? Are you trying to eat 1,200 calories? Are you saying to yourself, I deserve this on a Friday for getting through the week? Are you doing endless amounts of cardio? And then I deserve this for going to the gym. Sometimes everything is actually too much. And that can overwhelm your brain. But are you doing everything you possibly can? A lot of us will feel we are. And some of us will be. But a lot of us are trying to do too much. And that's when we get so bogged down, so beat ourselves up with the weighing scales, or else we only give the weighing scales a week. Because that scales hasn't changed in 1 week or 2 weeks, whatever it might be, we miss out on that whoosh effect. That whoosh effect of the scales hasn't dropped in a week or two, and then all of a sudden it drops from doing nothing more than just doing what you can. Question 2 is, am I actually enjoying my process or finding it like a full-time job? Sustainability requires enjoyment. If your food is joyless and your exercise feels like punishment, your brain will fight against it. So when people are saying, should I be doing running? Should I be doing the weight? Should I be doing the classes or whatever it might be? What do you enjoy? And some people don't enjoy exercise, and that's fine. Everyone deserves to move. Everyone deserves to be in the gym. Everyone deserves to be fit and healthy. But if you're fighting against it or seeing exercise as a way to burn calories, you're always going to be fighting against it because you're going to rely on willpower. If it gets dark or it starts to rain on the way home, you're not going to go to the gym or you're going to skip out on that walk. If you find that you're not enjoying the process, you're not with the right approach. What would I be doing differently if I wasn't comparing myself? Sometimes comparison hijacks our genuine instinct. Without your friend or that person or that relative as a reference point, what does your body actually need right now? Most of the time, it needs a little bit of self-compassion and an arm around the shoulder. It normally needs a little bit of nourishment rather than a restrictive approach. Question 4 is, have I spoken to someone or anyone professionally what might be making this harder? A GP, a dietitian, a nutritionist. Are you at that next stage of perimenopause? If you genuinely feel like you're doing everything and nothing is shifting, go talk to the doctor and get your bloods and your hormones checked. It might not be a matter of willpower, and it could be something else. But remember, our metabolism doesn't slow down until we're like 60, and it's only by 0.6%. But a lot of us will blame at that. It is harder, but it's not harder for the reasons we think. What would I say to your best friend? Or what would you say to your best friend? Say it out loud. Because compassion is what's going to lead you to where you want to go. And we've just finished the female fat loss group from January's female fat loss group. And the biggest thing that kind of came through on the anonymous kind of feedback form that I get everyone to try and fill in is the compassion piece. They've seen more changes and more results because they're not beating themselves up for something like a chocolate bar or a meal out. They're actually able to enjoy the ice cream with their kids. They're not beating themselves up for it, because shame will not do anything for you other than keep you stuck. And that takes practice. It's not that I'm never going to beat yourself up. It's that you can catch yourself a little bit more often and practice it. So how do you actually move through this? Because your feelings are completely valid, but you also want to know what to do with them. Feel it, name it, and don't feed it. Name the feeling. Feel like I'm failing. I feel envious. I feel left behind. I feel exhausted. But don't build a narrative around it. Don't let I feel envious today become she doesn't deserve it or I'll never get there. Name the emotion. Don't draft it. Reduce comparison inputs. If following certain people online is making this worse, unfollow them. I cannot reiterate this enough. It seems too simple, but it does help. It's not weakness. A lot of people talk about control. Control your fucking feed. You're allowed to protect your peace. In real life, in certain conversations, and about your results coming up repeatedly, it's okay to gently kind of redirect. I'm actually just going on my own journey and on my own pace at the minute. I was having a wobble situation. I'm just talking about nourishing myself over the next while. It could be just involved taking away from the scales, and let's talk about something else. Look at your NSVs, non-scale victories, and make them loud. Comparison pulls one focus to one metric, the scale. But your journey is happening in ways that you actually can't see. Your energy, your sleep, your mobility, your strength, your relationship with food, your ability to have a meal out with your kids, your mood, your confidence. Write those out. But a lot of people won't be able to write them out because they do not like giving themselves credit, because we do not know how to, because we haven't been taught to as a kid. We are looking for validation and acceptance. Or we may not have got that from as a kid, which isn't a dig at anyone's parents. If they haven't been taught, they can't teach you. Just like you can't teach the next generation. But the scale, it's not that because the scales doesn't matter. It's because it's one data point. It's like measuring your bank balance and telling how good you are in bed. It's not a fair metric. It's not a good comparison. Reconnect with your why. Why are you on this journey? Not why does she look thinner. We also don't know what's going on in that person's life. From a practical and my own point of view, when I've been my thinnest, I've been at my worst place mentally. And when I've been at my lightest, I've been at the worst place mentally. In hospital, mental health in the pits, etc. But you look a certain way to people and they start to comment, they start to compliment, but you feel like a sack of shit inside. So why are you doing this? Health, energy, getting your cholesterol down, longevity, confidence. Why are you doing this? It's not for the scales, because the scales isn't a motivator. You think the scales is what you want down. It's not. Think deeper than the scales. Scales is a great metric in the right hands. Separate her story or their story from yours. Their results are not commentary on your results. Their body is their body. Their body is not your body. Their journey is not your journey. There is room for you both to succeed, and kind of succeeding is different. Their winning is not your losing. This is not a competition. Just because someone is thinner and weighs less in the scales doesn't mean they're a better person. Think of it logically. Now, remember, logic doesn't win here. But because someone is less on the scales doesn't mean they're a better human. This is not a competition. It's not a race. I want to end with this, right? There was a woman who messaged me recently. She said that she felt ashamed of being jealous of her sister. She said she knew it was shallow. She said she loved her sister and didn't want to feel this way. The fact that you feel bad about feeling that feeling tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person that person is. You're kind, self-aware. You're not consumed by bitterness. You're consumed by your own pain. That's completely different. You're allowed to want more for yourself. You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to feel like the system isn't fair. Because in many ways it isn't. It's not a level playing field for everyone. But you're not allowed to let that frustration convince you that your efforts are worthless. You're not. You're not allowed to say that your no progress or any of your progress doesn't count. Because you're not giving yourself probably celebrating your wins as you kind of go along. Thinking that the weighing scales being down is going to sort out all your problems. But a lot of people, when they push too hard with their weight loss, they still have the same problems. Self-worth issues, body image issues. Their partner's a dick. Their kids are still shitting themselves. Their boss is a cock. It's not easy. It's not the same level playing field for everyone. You deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to feel good. But a lot of times, is it the right approach? Is the long-term approach? Are you having a tougher time mentally? Is there a lot of stuff kind of going on? You are enough. Your effort is enough, and you're not alone in this. That's the big thing. So if this episode has helped at all, please let me know. Share it in the comments. If it has triggered you at all, please realize that you can go and talk to someone. But I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. And as always, please share, leave a review up on iTunes or up on Spotify. But thank you so much for listening.